Hello, everyone. How are we doing out there today, you freaks, geeks, and outlaws? I don't know how long I'm going to keep saying that, but originally with this video, I was going to do another vlog style, um, and midway through recording, I thought of something else. I thought maybe I could just speak, see what happens, do a stream of consciousness, maybe a little bit of commentary driving. Just commenting on things that happened on the drive. One thing in particular that comes up pretty soon here as I'm picking this load up. Um, Embarrassingly enough, I actually get stuck. Now, before anyone says anything, I was empty. Um, Picked up my empty trailer, as you can see through this footage here, and was on my way to the customer, which is picking up a load of popcorn, unpopped, of course. But going there, I'm empty, and you see the condition of the road. I think it had snowed the night before I got up. No. It snowed the night before. Yeah, it snowed the night before, while I was asleep, and it just I took a nap, I woke up, it was snowing, and then it just kept snowing, and then this is what was left. Another embarrassing thing that happened is, as this was my first time coming here and everything was covered up in snow, I had no idea which driveway to use, and I had no idea if that was even the driveway that I was turning into. So I backed out, and then backed all the way up, and I wanted to leave this in the video because, yeah, I wanted to show that, we make mistakes out here on the road. We really do. We can't all be perfect. Some of us, not me, but someone I know, went up the wrong side of an off ramp. It was the middle of the night. It was Wyoming, at exit 209 at that Flying J there. Um, he was on the eastbound side, got off the interstate, was going to go up there, but he made the turn he made the turn too early and started turning up the off ramp. Middle of the night, he was tired. It happens. We all make mistakes. Hood's up because I'm grabbing my tow hooks. They're going to come out and tow me. Not the whole way, just enough, just to a spot where I can get some traction, which, I'm thankful for. These guys were really nice, really awesome. The ground was just too covered, though, because after, as you see, after we get this, we get this squared away, we drive around and I line up for the dock, only for me to be stuck again. Like, they ended up towing me out twice more. They dragged me back twice more, and then I just ended up rocking it until I finally got it into place. That was just not a good day for me. But, it is what it is. Well, not a good start to the day. It turned into a pretty good day. But it just didn't seem, all that fun at the time. It's a lot better than being stuck bobtail in gravel because, yeah, that was a thing that happened. I'm not proud to say it. Or I'm not too proud to admit that, yeah, I got stuck over gravel because and I was bobtail. Yeah, embarrassing. But, as I am recording this voiceover, some of this footage was not time-lapsed. I forgot to time-lapse it. On the GoPro there, I forgot to make sure that when I hit record, the camera was on the time-lapse setting. And I'm also going to be doing maybe another time-lapse video after this too. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure, or I might do just a story time of something that happened before I started trucking. Um, but and I often think about trucking and why I got into it. Oh, why do I still do it? Um, and why do I still do it? I actually enjoy driving. I enjoy the act of driving. That doesn't necessarily mean I am the best one driving. I really am not. Um, there are those who are better than me. Um, some things I think about, and I think about that a lot. I think about, well, how can I be better? How can I do this? And I try to and motivate myself to be better as a driver and as a person. The person part still needs a lot of work, mainly because if you ever see me outside of a particular type of setting, that being a professional one, so like if I'm not coming in to see you to deliver a load or pick up a load or whatnot, if you just randomly approach me, um, I don't be too offended if I am a bit standoffish, because outside of typical business interactions, I I tend to be a little bit standoffish when it comes to talking to people I don't know or meeting new people for the first time. It's one of those. It's a thing I developed, and I'm not that proud of it. Um, Case in point, I have some accent lighting that I put in the truck. If you guys see my TikTok, if you guys, I don't know if I'll put a link to my TikTok or what, but I actually posted a video of TikTok of the accent lights that I have, and there are some that are up above the dashboard. Sometimes I have those on when I'm fueling or if I'm parked. Uh, and someone actually complimented me on those while I was fueling one day, and I will admit that I was rather standoffish with him. Initially, initially, it was kind of one of those things of, well, I'm fueling, and someone comes up to talk to me, um, and asks me a weird question that throws me off. What do you want? It's because he walks up and he's like, "Hey man, I like those lights you got in your truck." I just looked at him, and it was yeah, yeah, thanks. He's like, "Well, how'd you get those lights up there?" And I was like, uh, "I drilled holes." But and it was the mindset that I was in of someone just approached me. What they must want some money, and that really wasn't what happened, as I clearly explained. So after I realized, wait, that's not what that was, I caught up with them because I literally just finished fueling. So I caught up with them and explained in much better detail of how I installed my lights. That being, um, I also have my CB hooked in up there, so I spliced in a 12 volt plug extension. It's a two-part plug extension. One's the 12 volt plug, the other one is a USB, and it's one of those ones you can find in the CB section. I think that particular one that I'm using, I actually got from Iowa 80. Um, and I spliced that in with the CB. Um, and I have my dash cam and my lights and a fan running out of that. I actually had to buy another three plug extension so that I could. So now that I can actually run one more thing off up there, unless I start getting really weird with the configurations. Um, but that being aside, is sometimes I need to warm up to someone if I'm not in a social mood. That's another thing that is another thing that I think about as a truck driver, is that before I started driving, I was kind of a social butterfly. I went out, I did things, I met people, I made friends, I did all of that stuff. But just I mean, even up to a year after I started driving, I started to notice that I became more reserved, more quiet. Um, I tended to not be as social as I used to be. Um, and I think a lot of that has to do with being in isolation. And that that is and can be a problem. Um, and it's kind of a mental health thing. And I have a pretty good group of friends that I talk to out here on the road. Um, my boss, he's also a driver, and he's out driving, and I tend to call him from time to time. I make sure that I keep in touch with family as best as I can. Um, Thankfully, I do have a group of friends at home that I can go off for a few months, come back, and it's like I never left, and I'm so very thankful for that. Um, I also a lot of times think about the very reason I even got to driving. I have an uncle who was, and I think he still is, an owner operator. Um, the first truck I ever remember him having was a purple Freightliner Century. He worked for Boyd Brothers. Uh, and I remember back when I was 7 years old, I spent the night at their house with my cousins. And the next day, because of where I lived and where the terminal was, he could take me home. He could drop me off on his way to grab his trailer from the yard. So that's what happened. And that was the very first time I was ever in a truck. Um, and just being up high, I would always tell him, I want to be a truck driver just like you when I grow up. He would always say, no, you don't want to do that. And I never really understood it. And it wasn't until I turned 22 that I actually went and got my CDL. I can't tell you why I waited until I turned 22, but I did. Um, and I have been driving for about 8 years now. And that flows right into another thing. Um, I don't like super truckers. I don't think they're cool. And there's a major difference between what is a super trucker and what is a professional driver. And I'll give you a great example here. Um, a professional driver will see someone having trouble backing, and if they want to help that person, they will walk up and ask that person if they need help. A super trucker will do the same thing, but there is a difference. A super trucker will walk up and go, hey man, you want me to help you? I got X amount of years of experience. What does that have to do with anything? What does the amount of experience you have backing up a truck have to do with anything? Because, believe it or not, and I would consider myself a pretty okay at backing, and I will still have those days where I just can't hit that hole. You know, we've all been there. I don't really need to know that you've got 17 years of experience, and you know you can help me get back in there with the quickness. And that you've backed up more miles than I've driven forward. I don't care about all that. I really don't. It doesn't impress me. Um, Mainly because my boss, my best friend, and my mentor, he he's been driving for 30 years. And it hardly ever comes up. He's been driving for over 30 years now. It hardly ever comes up. Any question I have, I ask him, he gives me an answer. If he doesn't have the answer, he will find an answer. That is a professional driver. someone who is impressed by how far they drove that day is not, to me, they are to me a super trucker. Case in point, it doesn't matter how many miles I've driven in a day. If I've driven a minimum amount of miles, and it just happens to come up in a conversation with my boss, how many miles I've driven in a day, they'll go, "It's not a bad day." But then again, he's getting to a point where he wants to come off the road, and or at least be home more often. For the first year of the company that started, he was basically home every day, and he enjoyed that quite a bit. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have several friends who started out over the road with me, and a good deal, and most of them are home every day now, or every other day. My brother, my older brother, he he started he started out driving, went where I didn't want him to go, um, but he's home every day. He's home every day now, and he's been driving for around 2 years. And I was like, and I talked to him the other day, and he goes, "Yeah, man, I wanted to be home more often, and so I left the other company I was with." He said, "I'm with, and I wanted to be home more often, and I want to be more active." And you know what? More power to him. He has a very active job. He works for McLean, and delivering food, you know, delivering delivering food to fast food restaurants and stuff like that. It's a pretty active job, depending on how many stops you got in a day. Um, I am parked in a truck stop right now with my windows down, enjoying some nicotine. If you heard that truck in the background, I don't know if you did. And I said, and he goes, "Yeah, I wanted to be home more often. I want to be home every day." I said, "Yeah, I know. I remember you saying that." He said, "Are you home every day?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, good luck doing anything other than eating, shitting, and showering and sleeping." And he goes, "Well, yeah, that's all I do. I don't have time to do nothing else." I was like, but he also said that he has 2 days off. I couldn't do it because I only had, most of the jobs I found that I wanted to do was, um, they were 6-day-a-week jobs. So I would only have like 34 hours off. A lot of times those home everyday jobs want you to only take 10 hours off. So and you got to take into account how long it takes you to get from, where you're delivering, or from where you park the truck to home. If you can't take the truck home, and I couldn't take the truck home. So eventually I got to the point where it was like, well, if I'm not gonna have time to do anything when I get off a 10-hour break, and I'm gonna be home every day, why am I home every day if I don't have time to do anything? Is it because I'm sleeping in my own bed? Oh yeah, that would be great, except I don't have time to do anything. So I was like, if it's gonna be that way, I'll just be over the road, and that's why I stay over the road. Um, I don't have anything against anyone who wants to go home more often. I applaud you for it, especially if you can make money doing so. Um, I also, let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, going back to my uncle. Yeah, I had called him after I got my CDL and told him as much, and he was proud of me. But I do understand where he was coming from when he said, "Oh, you don't want to do that." Um, Not because the job is hard. The job is not hard. Um, I don't want to bring him up to say that I want to start beef with him or anything. I don't. I actually respect him a great deal. But um, um, Josh at This Guy Trucks, he says the job is not hard, and it's not. It doesn't it doesn't take very long to be able to do the job. What's hard is the mental taxation that happens from being alone with your thoughts for an extended amount of time. And, and whether he recognized that or not, I think it's actually very good for him that brought his that he brought his lady friend on the truck with him. I think that that is a very good move for him. Um, and not everybody can do that. That's and I do wish him well, and all I want him to do is succeed. But and that's not something that a lot of people can do either, because I mean, this is an 8x10 box that you have to sit there and look. You have to really, really care about somebody in order to live in such tight quarters. I have gotten used to it, being alone. Um, I've got my vices, the musics I like to listen to, the audiobooks I like to listen to, um, whatever. Oh, hey, look, I'm coming in here to fuel. Shameless plug here. I use Mudflap to pay for my fuel, so in certain places I can get it well under $5 a gallon at the recording of this. Uh, video. As fuel prices go up, that will change, of course. But this was actually the cheapest place I could find fuel, and I had actually fueled up on my way up to Michigan off of home time. This is where I actually fueled up on my way up to Michigan, and or I had fueled up somewhere before, but decided to. I think, what was I doing here? Was I cleaning off my windows? I may have been cleaning off my windows, or I may have been checking something. I can't remember. I just know that I let the hood up to do something, and I think it was to check my oil. Okay. Check my oil while I fueled up, um, and clean off the ice. And I think I had a winter front on because it was so freaking cold. My truck wouldn't warm up, so I put the winter front on to get it to warm up. Um, And then the only issue I have with Mudflap is you can't do it at the pump. You gotta get your code, walk in there, give them the code. This particular place would like you to leave your license or something that you don't want to leave behind. So you leave your license in there, come back, fuel your truck, go back in to get your receipt, you get your license back or whatever you left. I think the first time I left something, I actually left my phone because I left my wallet in the truck because I wasn't planning on buying anything, just fueling up and going. So this time I actually remembered, oh, they like to keep my license, so I did that. Well, so yeah, I told my uncle, he was proud of me. I know I'm in all over the place. I guess that's why it's called a stream of consciousness. But I told my uncle that I started driving. He was, he's proud of me, regardless of what he told me. And I remember at some point I had brought up, because I had seen one. I had seen one. It was a old purple Freightliner Century, and that made me think about him. And that's what I called him. I was like, "Hey," he said, "You said, you know why?" So when I told him about it, I was like, "Yeah, that's why I wanted to start driving, is because you took me home in that old purple Freightliner Century." And he goes, "You remember that truck?" Now, at the time, I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know what truck brands were. I was 7, but I I remember that truck because it's ingrained in my memory. It was I can't tell you what year it was, but it was a purple Freightliner Century, and that was the first truck I ever took a ride in. And that is a very cherished memory. It's something that I will never forget. Obviously because I made my dream come true. Um, which I don't let people go, well, you wanted to be a truck driver? That's a weird profession to want to be. I was like, well, it's what I want to do. And I've been doing this for as long as I have, and I still actually enjoy it. Yeah, the answer I might give when asked, well, do you like it, is, well, I'm still doing it. That's because I'm tired of hearing that question. that lazy "I'm still doing it" answer is because I'm tired of hearing that. And going back to commentating here, as we get further down south, the snow starts to disappear. thankfully. And it actually starts to turn into rain. Um, and, you know, yeah, it starts to turn into just rain, and eventually the snow disappears altogether. Um, I didn't go very, very, very far on this video, actually, and I think I'm coming up to maybe where I am coming up to a point where I probably need to stop here. But, no, not right here, of course, but just I'm coming up to a point where I need to stop. Um, it's very muggy that day, I'll tell you what. Oh man, I don't know what that was. Uh, but yeah, I'm coming to a place where I should probably start winding it down here. This stream of consciousness I had, didn't think I'd actually be able to talk this long. But yeah, it turns into rain down here, and I remember coming to a stop. I actually think I drove a little farther than where the video ends. I just figured that would be a good spot for the video to end because it, as you see, it starts getting closer and closer to nightfall. Or actually, by the time the video ends, it is night. Um, and like I said, I don't like making a lot of lane changes because it just takes one time not looking and there actually being somebody there when I make that lane change. And then, I either run somebody off the road or I hit somebody, or, it's. So I try not to make lane changes when I don't need to. Um, and of course, I'm going slower than the speed of traffic because I know at the start of the day it was still pretty cold. So I wasn't worried about. So I was a little worried about ice. I think I actually sped up down here when I didn't need when I wasn't when I was watching the spray. So I actually can't tell you how fast I was going. I know it was the speed limit. Speed on the speed limit. Um, but it was just pretty neat drive, coming out of winter weather into rainy weather. As you can see now, the snow is completely gone, and I think, I go as fast as the speed limit will allow, or as fast as I wanted to, which was, considering how heavy I was, I still wanted to make good fuel mileage. So, there's that. Um, but yeah, I enjoy driving. I enjoy what I do. Um, and I don't really see myself doing anything else. Maybe running a bar, but um, I just it's not because I like to travel or anything like that. It's simply because I enjoy driving. Driving is what I like to do. I just it's nothing I can really explain. Just that I don't see myself actually. Well, I don't know. I just can't really explain it. I just enjoy the drive. I enjoy just sitting there thinking um, about what I couldn't tell you. I literally just started this video and started talking, and I can't remember anything I said at the beginning of the video. I really can't. Just that I wanted to just make a video where I went blah 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 for X amount of minutes. I actually stopped at the Mr. Fuel because the pilot at that exit I recognized as one I did not want to stop at, but I couldn't find parking at the Mr. Fuel either, so I decided to just end the video, end recording video there, and then just go about my business. I'll go ahead and let the video finish out. And um, thank you guys an awful lot for watching and listening to my rambles. Um, no music this time. I didn't think it needed it, but maybe on the next one I'll have some background music going. Um, Leave me a comment if you have any thoughts or ideas. I, just kind of do this for fun. I don't know where it's going to go, but I've been enjoying doing it so far with the few videos I have on here, so we'll see where this goes. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and or whatever time of day it is for you, and I will see you next time.